So, Jennifer, you play musical superstar Kat Valdez in Marry Me. Who is she in your eyes, and how does her life change from the moment she decides to follow the impulse to marry a stranger?
I mean, to me, in my eyes, Kat Valdez is a very kind of self-assured, artist, recording artist, veteran in the industry who has built herself, into something that, and her life into something that, she's proud of, but it also, in a way, because of her personal life, has become a bit unsatisfying. And I think for her, you know, there's a beautiful journey here. Once Owen comes into her life, and the character that Owen plays, Charlie, comes into her life and really changes it forever. Changes her perspective, changes her ideas of being caught. Sometimes you feel kind of caught, like, okay, I'm trapped in this fame. I'm trapped in this life. This is all I can do. And I really don't get to have a life like everybody else or a love like everybody else. And I think what Owen's character teaches her is that she can, and that it is possible, and that there is hope for her, and she could have a real love and a real home, which she's never had.
Music, of course, is a key element of the movie. Can you talk
hmm
about the experience of making an album and a movie at the same time?
Yeah, that was a first for me, which was such a pleasure. It's like my two worlds coming together. But making the album, it was great because, I got to they really allowed me to input into where and when and what these musical moments would be for this character. They really looked to me to be like, okay, how would this be, and how could we make this feel real, and actually picking the music for the arc of the characters. There's nobody who understood the character more than I did, and nobody who understood what, it was to be kind of a musical artist and be this person within this movie. And so picking the songs for the moments was such a pleasure for me. And then to have Maluma, kind of fill in the blanks for his character. And he did such a great job with the two songs that he did, Una en un millón and Segundo, for the moments that he introduces himself, and then for the moment where he's asking for a second chance. I always thought, like, oh, segundo, is that too on the nose? And then when I heard the song and what he did with it, what he came up with, I was so pleased. And I felt the same way with all of the songs: Love of My Life, After Love, On My Way, the title song, Marry Me. I just felt like we really found the characters within those songs.
Speaking of the character, people would like to know how much of Kat is in you and how much of you is in Kat.
I think there's a lot of us in each other. There is. I mean, there wasn't this wasn't a role where I had to research what it was like to be a famous recording artist who does branding and who has all of that. I understand what all of that is already. I think the difficult part was kind of the meta part, which was, the idea of showing what it's really like inside my bedroom when something goes wrong and you suffer a heartbreak like this in front of the whole world, and the media kind of goes to town on you, to kind of unearth the story and understand it and kind of poke fun at it, and in that way, and what that really feels like. And in some of those moments, even with scenes with me and Owen, where he's asking, like, don't you want to just give up on the whole love thing? um, it was just that philosophy that she has. Like, I understand. It's like, no, if there's a 1 in a billion chance, no matter what the numbers are, you're a math teacher, you know, that's worth it. That's worth it, because I think what she is craving is that love and that home. And so there was a lot of moments there where I was able to bring a truth to the character in the emotional life that was really authentic and real.
You were mentioning a moment ago, though, you talked about those songs, those great songs that you recorded with Maluma. Of course, people are asking, can we expect more music from you and Maluma in the future?
It's funny because right after the movie, we did Pati and Lonely, which Pati wound up being in the movie. And we did them kind of as Kat and Bastian after we had finished the album. But that wound up coming out before because the movie was pushed back because of the pandemic. And it was just like, but I mean, I think we'll always, look for opportunities to work together. We have a good musical chemistry. Doing these songs together. Marry Me is one of my favorite duets I've ever done with anyone. And he's a great songwriter and a great interpreter of song. And so I would love to be able to do more together.
Another great question here. Jennifer, you're so multi-talented. What's something you can't do?
There's so much I can't do. We're not even going to get into it. There's not enough time in this press conference. But I do feel very lucky to be able to do all the things that I do. I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I'm like kind of hitting my stride with what I know my abilities to be and being confident in that. Whereas when I was younger, I was a little bit more, insecure and kind of finding my way. It's great to be at a point in my life where I feel that really I know myself. And I trust myself. But there's definitely a lot of things I cannot do. I really suck. I always say this at basketball, of all things.
You have starred in some memorable romantic comedies. Is this a homecoming of sorts for you? And do you have a special place in your heart for the genre of the romantic comedy?
Yes, I do. And I think that's why I've done so many throughout my career. It's because I, as a moviegoer, love romantic comedies. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time, whether it's, When Harry Met Sally or Prelude to a Kiss or any of these type of movies, the Meg Ryan era and the Julia Roberts era, all of those, movies is what I grew up on in a way, and I love them so much. And so it is kind of a homecoming for me because I haven't done one in a few years. And then this year I did two, and I think I'll have two coming out. I have, this one, Marry Me, and then Shotgun Wedding will be out at some point, which I did with Josh Duhamel. So I'm excited to be able to do a couple. Yeah, for sure. I love it.
But following up on that, they're asking, is there a certain element in a romantic comedy script that makes you want to say, I want to do this?
Oh, specifically in a thing. I think, it's hard to reinvent it every time. Like, how do you make it different than the last one? Because we kind of always know that two people are going to wind up together, and that's going to be the end. And it's just like, it's really about how interesting the journey is, and the kind of interaction between the two characters and how interesting that is. And if that's written well, that's what makes me want to do it.
We have Valentine's Day coming up, of course, so the timing couldn't be better for the movie. But they're asking, what's the ideal Valentine's Day for you?
The ideal Valentine's Day for me is just me and my partner alone in a place where we don't have to worry about people watching us or, where there wouldn't be a bunch of paparazzi, where we can have some private moments and really talk about life and love and just really appreciating the company and being in love and being together.
Marry Me has some really unforgettable songs. People want to know if you have a favorite one and why.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I could think of like right off the top of my head, I love Nobody's Watching Us so much because I really relate to it. What I was just talking about, Love of My Life, After Love, Marry Me, I mean, all of it. But I think On My Way, for me, is such a life song. It's like one of those perfect sentiments in a song. Yes, it fit well in the movie, but I just thought it was a song that everybody could relate to because we all feel like the mistakes we make are so tragic in our lives. And this is really so hopeful because it says that every single mistake that I made was leading me down a yellow brick road to exactly where I needed to be and where I wanted to be. And I do believe in that in life. And so I would have to say, if I had to pick a favorite child, which I would never do, it would be On My Way.
Well, speaking of fitting well, the movie also has amazing fashion, and they want to know, do you have a favorite outfit?
Oh my God, there was again so many great outfits in that movie. Let me just think for a second, because I haven't seen it in a few months. Obviously, the wedding dress by Zuhair Murad was a knockout. It was very uncomfortable to wear for the 4 days that we shot those scenes. Every time I had to wear it, it was so tight on me. But there was a lot. I'm trying to think of some of the scenes. I loved the Sally Lapointe outfit, the suede kind of coral colored pants and sweater and cap during On My Way. I thought that that was a beautiful setting and again, kind of a triumphant moment in the movie where she kind of comes into her own with the music and has written a song from this journey that she had into her real life. And you really feel her power of like arriving somewhere new in her life because of this love that she has for this person.
Just to wrap it up, social media is important in the film, and
Yes.
Kat has to deal with the pressures of social
Mhm.
media, right? That's a
Yeah.
very real thing today.
It is a real thing. You know, it used to be just the tabloids or the press, and now it's social media as well, which can be, you know, even just as, if not even more anxiety provoking um, for people in the public eye. But I think that's what also makes this one a little bit more modern is that you have that element in it of what that's like to have, you know, a heartbreak and a huge embarrassment in front of the world and how it travels so quickly. Like before it was like, oh, it's gonna come out, the story's gonna come out, this is what's gonna happen. Well, we'll see if it gets picked up. And it's like, there's no doubt. If something happens, somebody's gonna see it, they're gonna get it on camera, they're gonna talk about it, they're gonna share it. It's just like, you know, and navigating that as a person in the public eye is can be tricky. And especially when, you know, difficult things happen in your life, like Kat suffers in the beginning of this movie, which I don't wish on anybody.
Well, thank you so much. You're right. The
Thank
movie is
you.
very now, but at the same time, I think it has that feel of these great classic romantic comedies. It has it all and amazing
Thank
music.
you.
Thank you
Thank you.
for everything you've done to make it possible.
Thank you
And,
so much.
and
I appreciate you.
congratulations.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Everybody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you